Hey guys, this is Gamer Cow sorting this mouse out before we start. Yay, we're playing this game, Imperishable Nights, Touhou number 8 or whatever. Maybe just go away, I don't want you. So, yeah, we're basically going for this. I'm a little bit nervous for starting this because I've been playing a fair bit of this recently and I actually did a pretty good clear off camera earlier on, but of course, whenever you try and record stuff, it's always harder to do, so I don't know how this is gonna go. Hoping it's gonna go as good as I had earlier though, because my score was quite nice as well, so yeah, we're just gonna hope for that. Now, there's a lot of characters to choose from, and as you know, I don't really like both halves of any team, so Darling Marisa, who got almost no screen time last time thanks to Reimu being wanted, you know, she's going to do this game, basically. Now, obviously, using a solo character has some pretty big disadvantages. Solo Yomu aside, the major one is that you only have access to your character's type of gauge. You know, being a human character, I only have access to the human features, which means a few things. The first is that the only way I can collect time is by killing stuff unfocused, or, you know, at least damaging stuff. The other one is that I cannot use the Yokai's ability to make familiars disappear upon, you know, focusing, basically. So that's a bit of a pain in the ass, because the familiars can be fatal to the touch. You know, there's blue and red ones, depending on the outline. Some of them are fatal, the red ones are, the blue ones aren't. Big pain in the ass to be always exposed to the red ones, that's gonna come up later. The other thing with being exposed to familiars though is that Marisa basically has to kill them before you can reach the boss. And that's annoying because bosses and, you know, fairies in general don't take nearly as much damage when you attack a familiar as you do when, you know, as they do when they get attacked themselves. Pain in the ass because Marisa has very, very good firepower and, you know, definitely loves to use that on the bosses, but can't always manage it because of the whole familiar thing. So, yeah, not the best of situations there. However, it's okay because Marisa is very good at killing familiars, so, you know, she can make a lot of cards simpler by having to kill familiars. Now, Alice over here, you can see she's in the text, and that's because this game wasn't supposed to be played by a solo character, yada yada, so the Magic team as a whole has to do text. That's not really very cool because it's not relevant anymore thanks to Alice not being here. And that's probably why I'm going to try and skip through most of this text a lot faster than the last time. I still want it to be readable, but taking 52 minutes to do Perfect Cherry Blossom was way too long, and it doesn't need to be that long. Also, my battery charger cable thing keeps coming out, and that's annoying because that's going to screw up my recording. Whatever. Wiggle over here is really not a very interesting boss fight because pretty much all of her attacks are the same as each other, so I'm not going to be talking about her. Instead, I'm going to be talking about why I'm still collecting time and stuff here. You can see time on the right hand side is a number where if you basically exceed that amount of time, you know, you get to fight the last word of a boss and everything, which we're going to see in a minute. But the other main thing of it is that you gain extra points effectively for collecting lots of time. Two ways of doing it. One is whilst collecting time in a spell card, you get to increase the value of the card, which goes against the traditional decreasing over duration. And the other one, if you have a look at the bottom left hand side of the screen, you can see how much my point items are worth at the moment. And the point items can double in value when you have minus 80% or more if you collect them at the top of the screen. So compound those, and that's why my score is so freaking high on the top of the screen over high score thing, yeah. Now, I'm traditionally not very good at this last word actually, because I think I just try and chase it down too much. So I end up getting myself caught in a situation which is bad, but I managed to get it there somehow. So yeah, you can probably see why I'm not very good at that one, but oh well. What I was going to say otherwise though is that because of the plot of this game being, you know, we've frozen the night to check out what's wrong with the moon, etc., you see the time at the bottom as it was 11 o'clock, it's now half 11. If you don't collect enough time during the stage, you don't get to fight the last spell, and that clock time advances by a full hour. Should the time reach 5 o'clock, your game ends instantly. Also, if you continue, you advance the clock by half an hour. So it's collecting enough time to get the last spell up is definitely wanted so that you can avoid all of these nasty things. Now, Stage 2. Stage 2 is probably my favourite stage of this game, actually, both in terms of the game, play itself and the music. Both the stage and the boss theme are fantastic, and I really just love this stage so much. It's a pretty hectic stage, really, and Marisa is very good at it because of that. So yeah, it can be difficult to collect time on this one if you're not confident with it, but whatever. By the way, just because it didn't come up there, that fairy dropped a bomb as well, so definitely handy. And there's my first extra life. Extra lives are collected the same way as they were in Cherry Blossom, but notice that the amount of points you need is stepped up from the last game, so you don't get as many lives in this one, which is annoying, but I think the maximum number of lives you get is about 10. That was very lucky, actually, wow. But yeah, you get about 10 lives at maximum, I think, which is not that many, actually, but wow. It's okay, but it's definitely not nearly as many as the last game had, that's for sure. And yeah, this whole stage is basically being side-to-side movement stuff. Try and let these fairies summon their familiars before you kill them. You get a lot more time that way, so especially here, this is where you get most of the time for the stage if you're quick and don't kill the familiars off too quickly, And have a look at that. We managed to get over 8,000 time before the end of the stage. I've had over 10,000 at the end of this point, but it's not the end of the world. Now, all of Mystia over here, all of her non-spells are based on the same green circle thing. They're always aimed for you as well, so you can, just move a little bit and it's okay. Now, this card is fun, but it's actually surprisingly hard to do at times. It's going to be one of the few cards I will focus on early on in the game, because it is actually surprisingly hard, and for some reason I managed to get caught there. I don't actually know how that happened, but whatever. This is what I mean about, sort of disappointing start to stuff, though. I managed to die at that card, have to bomb that card earlier as well, and it's not that hard. It's just, maybe I just missed where I was supposed to be there, I don't know, but oh well, whatever. It doesn't really make too much of a difference, You did get to see a last spell from me, actually, I guess, but basically, Imperishable Knight's, the other reason why I don't like it is Imperishable Knight's bomb system is way different. Okay, you get a longer reaction time during spells to Death Bomb, but Death Bombs cost you 2 bombs instead of 1. They are stronger as a result, but the fact of you lose your bombs twice as fast really doesn't help. Really doesn't help at all. So you can still bomb normally to get, just 1 bomb off, but it's nowhere near as good, and, it's just tricky to do. However, death bombing at all times, it's not just during spells, at all times will cost you an extra, an extra bomb. However, you only get extended death bomb duration, or, reaction time during spell cards. So it's very annoying to do that way. Anyway, Mystia's first spell card. I love this card, actually. It's really fun to do. I tend to find it's a lot more fun doing it unfocused, actually, even though it's a lot more dangerous doing it unfocused, but whatever. Mystia's cards are all revolved around arrows, which is kind of weird, but I guess it's just because she's a sparrow, and therefore she is an arrow freak. My god, that was bad. Jesus, I deserve to be shot for that one. Seriously, god. Wow. Oh well. Right, you saw me die to this non-card in the practice run, but that was because I didn't kill any of the familiars. If you kill the familiars, then there's almost no danger from this non-card whatsoever. However, the bullets are randomly aimed afterwards, so, if there's a lot of big circles on the field, you're going to get killed by that. Now anyhow, Mystia's gimmick here is night blindness, as her text kind of alluded to before, and well, it makes the Danmaku extremely light instead, so I'm really not too fussed about it. The Danmaku is definitely nothing dangerous at all. This is normal mode level at, at worst, basically stage 1 mid-boss style. All you've really got to do is work out where you've got to, that little one tiny moment where you have to move, and that's it. It's very, very, very simple. It's very slow moving, so there's almost no danger from this whatsoever. As you can see, it was very, very slight adjustments, and that's all I needed. This card, however, this card is very, very nasty. It's one of those where it's sort of luck at times as to whether or not you're going to get through it. I try and check up every wave just to see, as a quick heads up, if there's going to be anything that's going to try and kill me up there, because you really don't have any sort of visibility whatsoever, and if you aren't lucky, you're going to find yourself walled in. Those circle bullets aren't always quite as nice as that to dodge, so quite often you're going to have to be very quick on your reflexes if you want to get through that. So yeah, it's a dangerous, dangerous card. Thankfully it's only a bonus card, but at the same time, it's a nasty one to try and capture, so I'm glad I managed to do that actually. Still annoyed at the mid-boss one because I shouldn't have been clipped by that, but oh well, it happens. Look at that, 300 million points by the end of stage 2. Wonderful stuff.